This is probably a pretty niche problem, but I've looked it up before and I didn't find any answers, and I invented a hacky answer, so here it is on the internet. So here's the problem. You've put in all the work to create a really nice mask. You've got all the layers and everything. What if you want to separate some of these mask layers into a different mask? Because as it stands, this is all just one mask. If we look in compositing, this is just going to be one big white blob. What if one of the layers should be a little bit more blurry than the others? It's not like we can just go in and drop a blur node on one of the layers because it blurs everything. So back in our masking workflow here, it kind of seems like one or two things should be able to happen here. It seems like we should be able to right click on a mask layer and copy it, and then go into another mask and then paste that mask layer. Then in compositing, we'd have a completely different mask, and then we could edit that layer separately. But it doesn't work like that. You can't just copy a layer because you just can't. But what we can do is, say we wanted to separate our lower arm here into a different mask and maybe blur that separately. We can hover our mouse over it, hit L, and that will select all the connected handles. Then we can right click and use copy splines. And now if we go into a separate mask, we can paste this bad boy like so. And we've got a new mask layer, and we don't have any of the animation. That didn't transfer over. Sorry, out of luck. It seems like that should have brought the animation over, but that's okay. Another way that might make sense to fix this problem would be kind of like in materials. So you have a material, you hit this little button here, it makes a duplicate of the material, but it's a different material, so you can edit this material separately. If we could do that with masks, maybe we could remove all the other layers, then we just have this layer. But if you click this identical button, it just creates a completely new mask. I guess that kind of makes sense. It says new mask, and this says new material. Okay, they say the same thing, look the same, and do different things. What is the actual solution to this problem? It turns out there's kind of a hack that you can do that will help you out here. So if we go up to File, we do Save As, and then save a completely different file. Then we go back to the file that we were just working on before, and then we can append the mask from the file that we just created. So just for the mask, we can go to the mask folder. Hey, here's our mask of the guy. And when we append that and take a look, we have guy 001. So that should be the same mask, and it's got all of our same layers, and it's got all of our animation data, so we've effectively duplicated the mask. Now, let's maybe call this just arm, then we can delete all of the other layers except for just the arm. And maybe in the guy mask, we don't want the arm to show up, so we can uncheck the render layers there. Cool. Well, that's a little bit convoluted, but now we can duplicate our guy mask and use our just arm mask. We'd probably want to add these together. So here we go, add together. There we go. And now we have separate control of just that segment of the arm, and we can blur it to our heart's content. Cool. Well, that's a little bit involved, but like I mentioned, it's a hack and it works. I hope you found this useful. And speaking of useful things, something I've been finding pretty useful lately is this pack of seamless looping smoke assets, and you can just chuck one of these guys in a scene and you got smoke all of a sudden. If you'd like to grab a copy of this asset pack for free, there's a link to that in the description. Hope you have an excellent day. Cheers!